This podcast is part of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
And welcome everybody to What the Hops. Brian and Eric here on a nice, wonderful Buffalo Sunday night. And we have a guest with us. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, Donnie Burtless here, founder of Buffalo Eats. I guess people, it was like a website, and I feel like I always refer to it as like blogger, but like nobody reads blogs anymore. And I'm pretty sure nobody knows Buffalo Eats as a blog. It's more like, oh, that Instagram account I follow. So yes.
And like, yeah, Instagram's kind of become like the modern day blog, I guess, because if you look at some posts, man, people fucking write stories, man.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't got time to read all this shit.
I'm lazy as shit, dude. If I want it in video format, like, I don't want to read anymore. Like, I gotta read at work. I don't want to read.
Yeah, that's literally like what everyone does now, and especially with food. Like Instagram's such an easy like place to post food pictures. It's like the most like obvious social media.
Oh yeah.
But like, yeah, if I wrote like 2,000 words on like some Chinese food I had, like nobody gives a shit about that anymore. They just want to see the photos and
what does it look like? How it tastes?
Yeah, and maybe like a grade. Like just give me like a.
So should I go there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I recently had a conversation. Andrew Galarno, the guy who's the food editor for Buffalo News, who's the reviewer.
Yeah.
We were basically talking about like it's just a nightmare because people just probably scroll down and just read the score. They don't really read any of the time.
I'm more reading comments on shit like too.
Oh
like other
God.
people's comments are even better sometimes than the actual ones. Like, oh, this article's a train wreck. Let's see what the comments say. Or just like random like Twitter posts and like the comments got to be on fire for this.
I'm surprised nobody's made something that is strictly devoted to finding the batshit crazy Buffalo News or WGRZ comments and just like reposting those because those threads go into dark places.
You got to stay off of Facebook comments on any of that shit, man, because people are fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
Like,
My one buddy
the thing is, it's like, dude, you realize your name's attached to this, right?
Yeah. I know. Like, I don't think people do. I really don't think people do.
Yeah.
It's like absolutely stupid. Like, people find the dumbest things to go off about him, like throw a racist comment in there or something like so blatantly ignorant, like, you know your name's on there, right? Just because you decided to use your middle name instead of your last name.
Yeah.
That the fucking 200 people that you're friends with don't know who you are.
Yeah, and then people forget, like, if I post something somewhere else, like, all of my friends, it'll pop up in their feed, so now they get to see me commenting some dumbass thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially with the way it is with Twitter now. I don't like it because of the fact that, like, when someone you're following likes something, that starts popping up on your timeline. Yeah. Like I've complained about it like your dad and stuff, you know. Like his dad will sit there and like all these random things and like half my like all of a sudden I'll hit part of my timeline where it's like, oh, hey, Eric's dad just liked fucking 50 different things. It's like, okay.
He took a shit.
Like, I'm not following half these things. Like, thank you for liking some of these so now I can mute them and make sure I never see these again.
Yeah.
But like
I have a cousin and you know he's gay. He enjoys the company of men. But every now and then I'll see in my Twitter feed it's just him liking like thirst traps that guys post of all these photos. So there will be like literally 10 straight pictures of like gay men shirtless in a mirror, and I'm like, why are these? Oh, Dave was in a mood, I guess.
You're scrolling through, and your wife's walking by. You're like, what are you looking at?
Back into my personal life.
It's a very interesting world.
I stopped at Bottle Rocket over on Seneca Street down in South Buffalo earlier this week and picked up some stuff to drink for tonight. One of them is the Space Bronco from Brickyard Brewing Company. This is the Galaxy Mosaic version. It is a New England IPA, and we're sitting at 6.8 ABV, 85 IBUs, canned $7.25.
That's pretty good.
Say Space Bronco.
Yes.
I didn't know if I just like heard that and like went with it in my brain because like the ADD kicks in sometimes and
no, it's like it's a take on their White Bronco.
I was going to say, I thought they had a white Bronco, too.
Yeah. I think once they,
So you tell me OG's in space right now.
according to this beer, yes.
Dude, when I was at the Bills game the other night, my dad was not the only person screaming juice at the guy wearing 32 for the Bills. There was multiple people screaming juice.
That's pretty
But yeah, because this is the first year that
First time anyone's
Someone's
worn a number
worn
in
it.
like 40 years
Really?
or something. Yeah.
No shit. Who the hell's wearing it? Is it like... you would hope that it would be like somebody... it means
Perry,
something.
I think, like that.
Instead of like
Oh,
some
it's
guys
Perry,
getting
maybe?
cut.
yeah, it probably is someone who'll get cut. So
You
we
got
won't.
so many numbers. You put 90-some guys. The Colts had 2 number 9s on the team.
Oh, really?
Jesus.
It was a
I didn't
kicker and
even-
somebody else.
I gotta say, going back to the bottle rocket, that store is really... It's a really cool spot.
Yeah.
And in like South Buffalo, like... It has plenty of amazing things, but craft beer was not really one of them.
It might take a little bit for the crowd down there to kind of get full into
Yeah,
it.
I definitely was like in there the first time. Noticed how like cool it felt. It just feels like a really cool vibe in there. And I saw like a pile of vinyl records and a Radiohead poster, and I was like, "Am I in South Buffalo right now?"
It's definitely not a South Buffalo spot.
Yeah.
But that's how, things start changing, Because what is it? Cantina 62?
Yep.
Is right
Yeah,
next
the
to it?
taco place. Yeah. And then Public is putting a really big location. The coffee guys.
Yeah,
right
so,
there.
I mean, it's cool to have that kind of stuff down there because it's going to get people down there to experience it.
Yeah.
But,
Also, they seem really chill about food at Bottle Rocket. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
like you can just get Imperial takeout, and
and that's how I think most bottle shops are here too.
Yeah.
Like you can go to VBM, you can do the same thing.
Yep. Yeah.
Brewed and bottle up in Lewiston and stuff. I believe you can just order right next door and just have it come over and
Nice.
that too. So
Aurora Brewworks, I think you can get barbell takeout.
Yeah, you can bring
it in.
you can bring stuff in there too.
That's
So and that's awesome that we have all these awesome bottle shops in the area to do that kind of thing.
Is Murphy Brown's considered one?
we wrote a guide about craft beer shops,
Yeah.
and we didn't include them, and we got some flack from Clarence people saying you're missing out. I always thought it was just a bar first rather than a shop.
I thought when I lived out that way, I thought it was like
Have you been in there?
no, I just kept fucking driving by.
So,
So usually, because let's justify. When I lived out there, I'm 45 minutes away from anything. I couldn't wait to get back to civilization.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a different type of white trash than the white trash out that way. I'm an urban white trash guy. I'm not a farmer in the woods kind of shit. So I want to get back.
You can take the guy out of Lovejoy, but you can't take the Lovejoy out of the guy, man.
Exactly.
Nice.
No, it's in there. So when you walk in, it's like you're walking into a bar.
Okay.
Right. So, you got your bar, you got your tabletops, but then you look to your left, and there's maybe 3 wooden racks full of beer, maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they got random 4-packs and some bottles and that, and
Yeah.
that's really
Kind of like a half and half kind of thing.
yeah, but that's really kind of it.
Yeah.
So it's set up for you to be hey, I'm going to this craft beer bar.
Yeah, if you told me in 2006, you could go to NOCO and get local Buffalo
insane.
beer, I would have been what are you talking about?
Everything then was Sierra Nevada or Dogfish.
Yeah.
Like that, or Magic Hat.
Yeah,
And
Magic Hat.
Magic Hat was just oh shit, we got Magic Hat now? Let's go.
Yeah.
So Murphy Brown's they have 20 something different taps though. So
Really?
I mean they get a lot of different
So
beer.
is Crab Apples.
Dude.
This is a little
Cheektowaga.
This is a little classier than Crab Apples.
Did we talk about the Crab Apples on here with the puke the last time?
I think we might have mentioned it at some point in one episode.
But we ended up going there, and he goes in the bathroom, comes back, goes, someone puked in the bathroom, and it wasn't today.
at Crab Apples.
Oh, God.
You're looking in the corner and you're yeah, that's definitely vomit. Yes, that's definitely part of the wall now.
And it was just
God.
old My Chemical Romance playing their first CD, random shit's being out. I'm this is not what I expected to walk into.
We walked in and everybody's kind of looking at us to make sure that we're I guess dirty enough to be in there.
It's a weird double.
It's a weird vibe there.
Yeah, because you got like the people who are there straight up in like basketball shorts, just
You got to be
crushing.
23 or you got to be like 63.
Yeah.
Like,
And then there's a couple guys with beards who are drinking like the good craft beer, like if it's on tap and not run out.
yeah.
But 23 or 63 is the Cheektowaga thing, though. I
True,
feel.
that's
like,
true.
That's any bar in Cheektowaga. Like, it's like, oh, hey, you have these old guys sitting around, you know, that have been there since probably like 2 o'clock.
Oh yeah.
Or, you know, you have like this group of people that are just like freshly able to drink,
Yeah.
that are either drinking before whatever sport they're going to play,
Yeah.
or drinking after whatever sport they just played.
Yeah.
You know, and then after like 11 o'clock, you get like all the woo girls coming out to try to like find something to take home or go home with.
It's
You know.
such a weird place. I enjoy it, but it's also just an insane. And I don't know, that guy gets sometimes like some really good craft beer, but like,
Yeah, you get some random shit.
is it just for him?
Like, there's so much hype here. He sent me a meme a couple weeks ago that was by far the best thing ever. It was that, you know, that guy and his girlfriend meme?
Yeah.
And he's looking back at the other one. It said, like, perfectly good local beer. And he's looking back at the hype beer that I traded way too much shit for.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I mean, it's insane. Like I catch myself having like beer FOMO, like fear of like if I see a can release, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I gotta go get it because like, what if it's not gonna be around for another 6 months? Like I admit that I'm an idiot, but like I don't know how this happened like out of nowhere.
See, and that's exactly how I am too, and especially kind of with doing this.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, well, I want to try everything I possibly can so I could talk about it.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you're
You know?
that way because I'm just at the social point where I'm so fucking jaded where I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care. Like, I mean, it's just like in my personality now where I'm at the point where I'm like, whatever.
And I mean,
Yeah.
granted, we've talked a lot about like hype stuff and everything else, but like, I mean, this.
I rather chase local shit most of the time than I would.
And that's
like,
what I mean. That's why it's like
Yeah.
I'm glad that Brickyard is distributing now.
Yeah.
So like,
The one they
for
did
us,
with West Shore last year
yeah.
was good. Like,
for us, where it's like you might not be able to get out to like Lewiston all the time,
Right.
Because like, is it far? No, but it's enough of a trek where you're like you're gonna spend the day out in that general area
Yeah.
if you're going out there.
Yeah.
So-
It's Buffalo far.
it's like Buffalo
It's
laziness, though.
It's more than 20 minutes, so it's like
Exactly.
It's
Like,
a
we're
half-
spoiled that everything's here. Like,
Yeah.
like if you live in Houston, man, you're spending fucking 45 minutes to go like 3
Yeah.
miles away, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just like, South Cheektowaga from North Cheektowaga. Do I want to go see my parents? Not really.
You mean I gotta go 2 throughway exits?
Yeah.
That
And
you know?
I fully buy. I mean, I will critique it, but I also live that life. Like if I have to go to East Aurora, I'm like, oh my god.
I'm like at
East
100%.
Aurora.
Like, I'm not going to fucking East
When was
Aurora.
the- when was
I'm
the
going
last-
to drive to Darien Lake 3 times in a week to take my kids out there.
When was the last time you were in East Aurora?
Probably when I lived in Akron to go find the Lloyd truck.
Oh, nice.
Because that's when they didn't have any stores. And I'm like, fuck, dude,
Yeah.
East Aurora. I'm like, it's just like hit 77, go through all this fucking shit. I don't know what I'm doing.
Do you see that off the Harlem exit? If you're coming from the city to Cheektowaga, and you get off the 33, the Harlem, there's an actual sign that says "Visit like East Aurora." Like it's like a destination. There's a big sign that has like a Fiddler's, and it's like
Yes,
breakfast.
yes, yes.
I'm like, all right, let's stop acting like it's like you're gonna get a bed and breakfast and go to East Aurora.
I think a lot of it has to do that there's not like direct route like throughway to certain things, like which yeah, you can take the 400, but you say 400 to somebody, they're like, oh, I love the 400. They're like, fuck that, man.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the 400.
Exactly.
I got to drive past the 190 and get on over that shit. Like,
Yeah, it's
Well, I mean,
amazing.
going out to Lewiston, I mean, going on the Robert Moses and stuff too.
Oh,
You're
God,
like,
yeah.
you know, fuck this. Like,
Yeah.
I just don't want to drive on that.
And if you do it like once a year, you're like, how does this work again?
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
time. Yeah.
like, what did we do before GPS and phones and shit? Like,
I have like zero sense of direction. And I remember like when I would go to see like shows at Showplace, or like I think I saw something at like the Funhouse in Lackawanna.
Oh,
once.
yeah.
I like needed my dad to like write like step-by-step directions on how to get there in like 2000, 2001 when I was going.
And meanwhile, your dad's probably like, "You're going to Lackawanna?
Yeah.
Why the hell are you going there?"
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I had that conversation plenty of times.
I actually had a discussion about the Funhouse the other day. I was a new metal kid back in the day, so
Right.
my one friend was like, "Oh, like for some reason we like you got onto like Fear Factory," and
Why does it
he's
always
like,
end up back on Fear Factory with you?
"Dude, it was a thing back then, man."
All roads point to Fear Factory.
But like we saw
Fucking
Fear-
5-string basses and shit. Before that was even like a thing.
we saw them at the Funhouse, and we were trying to think of who played the show and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, that was really bad. It was probably like someone like Primer 55, and it got really fucking borderline juggalo going on in there.
What the hell is Funhouse now? I've tried to like drive down Abbott and like try to find whatever.
Probably like a
Funhouse-
banquet hall or something.
Yeah, it's gotta be, right?
Yeah, that would make sense. Either that or some kind of weird storage space.
Yeah. Did you guys go to Cruise In
Yes.
Lackawanna?
One of the coolest shows I ever seen there was Boys Night Out, Seosin before when they only had an EP out, and Census Fail when they only had an EP
I
out.
was literally at that exact same
That show was awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
And it was like fucking, it was basically like someone took a house and like they put a stage in the living room and put a bar in the dining room.
Yeah.
Like, and just like the way that it went. And that was fucking insane. Like, and that was 01, 02,
Yeah.
like something like that.
Yeah, I remember going for Census. Like me and my cousin were huge into Census Fail. It
Yeah.
was right after I think it was the drive-through EP or whatever they put out.
Yep.
And I had no idea who Seosin was. They were maybe a band for like 3 months. And
Yeah.
they were just like Anthony Green like blew my mind away. Like,
Yeah.
watching him perform.
And then he went and blew it all away in the bathroom too.
But like yeah, I remember there was like a summer where like I feel like Showplace closed.
Showplace had a few of those times.
Yeah, and like somebody had to pick up all the shows, and like it was like Cruise In for like
Yeah.
a year, and it was very weird.
There used to be a golf course over by Cruise In. Like back in the farthest hole is like 109 yards. And they had fucking AstroTurf, like not real AstroTurf, like the shit you'd put on like a Polish carpet. Like that was their greens. And I remember it was just such a fucking hard course to play. My dad's like, "I'm gonna take your mother here. She might maybe want to come and play." I'm like, I don't know what this fucking is, but it's like the course couldn't have been bigger than like a fucking block.
That's hilarious.
It was cool that like what it was,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was just like shit, 60 yards again, a 45-yard hole. Like, what am I doing here? But I remember like going, I'm like, oh no shit, I went to a concert there before.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was Under Oath. It was the summer that Under Oath played here like 6 times. And like they played there, it was them, Alexis on Fire, Roses Are Red,
Oh god.
wow.
and
Rochester's
like
finest.
there's
Is Rosa Red ever doing another CD after that first one on Trustkill?
I don't
'Cause I
think so.
bought it. And
I don't think
like,
so. And then
Do you remember the days
one or
of just
two
buying
others.
CDs because you had to check the band out because you didn't know?
Oh yeah, because it was on a label. That
I bought
like,
so many CDs that fucking sucked.
Yeah,
That's what it is, man. You went by the label.
I was like an
Yeah.
Equal Vision kid. I was like,
Yeah.
anything on Equal Vision, I'm fucking buying.
Like
it.
them, Trustkill, Victory. I'm like, it's gotta be good.
Yeah,
Victory signed them.
yeah.
They got a big budget.
I heard 30 Seconds on Pure Volume. It sounded pretty
Yeah. Then I ended up with like a Beloved CD.
good. Yeah.
That and the Fear Before the March of Flames. I'm like, I don't even know why I bought this. And I remember the kid that worked at FYE or whatever it used to be at the mall. He used to like be at all the shows and
Oh,
shit
which
too.
the punk dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, bro, you can take this one this week. It was the last copy. Like, he's like, you can't have that one though. I'm keeping that one for myself. I heard about them on like absolutepunk.net. Just like, so I'm like, all right. He went to his own stash, and kid's probably on his payday. He's got fucking like 9 CDs over there,
That's
and he just like hands them out. I'm like, or like gave me the one of them that I wanted to buy, and I'm sure I regretted it.
Oh God. Yeah, mine was Media Play. Gone to Media Play every Tuesday or whatever.
I miss Media Play. There's
Yeah.
so much random shit that you can buy there.
Yeah, it was a.
How many wrestling figurines did you buy there, asshole?
Probably not that much.
You're full of shit.
A lot of
Sean bought them all.
Yeah, that was his thing, man.
a lot of weird like anime DVDs that they had to put like black things in front of so you could.
I kept buying guitar pedals from them, and I kept breaking them.
I feel like we actually bought, like, when one of us turned 18, I think we actually bought an anime DVD there just because we could. And it was just like, and then we all go and, like, we're, like, all just sitting there. It's like, well, let's watch this. And we're, like, watching it back. Yeah. This wasn't exactly what we were expecting.
What are all the tentacles for?
That's what it was. It was the one that Vince had. The straight up, it was just tentacle porn. We were just like, all right, well, I guess that's a thing,
Oh, man.
I don't even think I paid attention to it, because I think I'm like, I gotta get fucking blackout drunk for this. That was after, like, the Unearthed show, right? And the Dillinger one, that I got punched in the face and I couldn't see anything.
Oh, then we went to Vince's house after? Yeah, probably.
Sounds about right.
I thought I broke my orbital bone because Matt Sundin had his broken, like, right around that time. And right when 43% Burnt came back in with the breakdown, I got punched in the face.
That was probably the best song on that. That was probably the only real good song on that album, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
Like,
I make it into the other one, I go, and I'm done.
Like, Calculating Infinity is like, everybody looks at it like it's like this great album. It's like, nah, bro, it's just a bunch of fucking noise.
It was calculated noise.
That is definitely one of those albums that, like, is, like, in that scene referred to as, like, classics. Or
well, the thing is, though,
we were talking about that before you came over.
I don't know. Like, the thing with Dillinger was, especially with, like, when Dimitri was singing, like, seeing them live was, like, intense. Like, I mean, I saw
Greg
him.
was the same way, though.
Yeah, but, like,
and he was jacked out of his fucking mind.
Picturing a 17-year-old kid going to the basement bar, seeing Dillinger Escape Plan play. Oh, my mic's not working. What am I going to do? I'm just going to walk through the crowd and grab people and scream lyrics in their face for the first half. Like, it was just like, you're watching this and you're like, dude, what the fuck am I watching, man? This is insane.
Yeah.
And that's what got you hooked on that band, was because, like, they were such an insane live band that, like, recorded, were they the greatest thing ever? No. Like,
yeah.
It's like the albums are kind of like, you can pick them apart pretty easily, but I don't know.
I'm trying to think of, like, when we had those moments, but at the same time, like, we've seen so many shows and just blended so much shit together. I remember my brother telling me when he wasn't going to fuck with you anymore because you picked some kid up and threw him over your head at Poison the Well.
No, man. Sometimes you get set off. Can't help it.
He's like, I'm not messing with him anymore. He's like, I kept talking shit to him. I literally watched him pick some kid up over his head and throw him.
I went down a dark rabbit hole of... Do you guys know the Setlist FM, the website?
Yeah.
So you can create, like, a profile, and you can, like, say, like, you attended concerts, and, like, I was like, oh, I wonder how many concerts I can find that I went to, and, like, cut to me at, like, 2 a.m. trying to Google, like, what exact date was it when I saw...
I used to save ticket stubs, and I actually... my wife didn't throw them out at me. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
But, like, she's like, here's a box of all your old concert shit. And just, like, gave it to me one day.
Nice.
I'm like, all right. I'm like, at some point, I'm going to sit there and look at this. There's random stickers and, like, guitar picks and shit.
That's awesome.
I used to, like, label. I mean, it was, like, pop punk and, like, hardcore and metalcore shit, like, mixed in. I mean, just the time frame we grew up in, you know? When he was into new metal, we were into, like, Korn and shit and pop and, like, getting into, like, pop punk. And then, like, it flipped. So a lot of it, like, didn't really match up as same.
Yeah.
Eventually it did.
Yeah.
And then he just, turned 30 and wanted to fucking dance. And
No, man. You can't stop this.
I mean, I respect it. It's just at the same time, like, I'm like, still like Blink-182. I don't fucking care.
Yeah, I think at one point I had all of, like, I had not all, but a good chunk of my concert stubs, and then I, like, moved out of my mom's when we moved into, like, me and my wife's first apartment, and I was like, I can't carry this to another place with me.
Yeah. What am I gonna do with all this shit?
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things.
Dream Weapon.
Okay.
I've had this one before.
I think I have too. I love, like, Grimm's aesthetic, I think sometimes more than their products. I would say their basement is not that low. Like, you're always going to get something that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
As opposed to like some of the other guys where it's just like a huge swing and a miss. Like
There's a lot of beers I feel like now they're like, we fucked this one up, but we can hype it up still.
Yeah, yeah,
And it just,
yeah. Throw some guava in it, and
Yep. I mean, it's this. Like we tie so much shit back into music because it's the same thing. It's the hype. Like,
Yeah.
People are all about some random band. You looking for a bottle opener? Or did you go in?
I got one.
This CD's incredible. This beer's incredible, and you try it for yourself, and you're like,
yeah.
that's fucking overrated.
You know what it kind of reminds me though is like everybody was always looking for the new band, especially during when like all that scene music was like super hyped. It was like, what's the next new band coming out? And I feel like beer is now the exact same way.
Beer is
100%.
We've just become like in your 30s. Like this is what we're dealing with instead of being us 22.
Yeah.
Now we're dealing with in your mid 30s.
Yeah, and it's insane because like for Buffalo's market, everyone's fascinated about the next out of town beer that like gets their beer into Buffalo.
Yep.
Like, and you see the waves. Like everyone freaked out about Ballast Point for like a month.
Yep.
And then everyone freaks out about the next thing. And it's, I don't know like how those beers have any lasting state. Like, does anyone care like 6 months later?
They sit there for fucking 6 months before someone buys them half the time now, you know? I mean, how many different sculpins are you going to drink?
Exactly. And then they all get bought out by these giant corporations who they're never going to make that.
I mean, good for them that they can
Yeah, I
do
mean,
it,
the owners get paid, but like it just seems like they're all these massive expansions and stuff. Like, how the hell are they gonna like? Do
But
this
that's
long term?
San Diego beer is a lot different than Buffalo beer, you know?
Yeah,
Their way that they're doing it, people want that flavor, and it's 80 degrees every day.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in that weather and like you know that this is the kind of climate you're in, where we're miserable a bunch of times, like we need this, we need that, like you know, fuck, we can feel like this now because our weather's doing this.
yeah,
You get a lot, I think, of that shit that happens here, which
yeah,
we constantly are just like, give us something different.
yeah. No, that makes sense.
I mean, a lot of shit too that we started on this whole like arguing about music, and not really arguing, but it's the same shit we've been talking about for I don't know how many years we've been friends now. Since the start,
20 years or so.
Almost on 20 years of us being friends. Fuck, that's crazy, dude. Isn't it? Holy shit! But it's we go back to music with it, and it's all started with the other day. It was like, I think Every Time I Die's Hot Damn is, if it's not the best metalcore CD, it's top 5, and it was one of the biggest changers for like what you were getting.
Yeah,
And like, so we just went off on like a fucking like tangent for this.
Do you watch Friends?
Do you watch How I Met Your Mother?
Then you should listen to How I Met Your Friends. Hi, I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Julie, and we are the ladies behind How I Met Your Friends, the podcast that explores the similarities and theories of Friends and How I Met Your Mother.
Every week, we watch an episode from each show and dive deep into the crossovers and catchphrases. So if you've ever noticed the similarities between these fantastic shows, come check out our podcast.
You can reach us on social media at How I Met Your Friends Pod, or email howimetyourfriendspod@gmail.com.
But as you guys did mention, we just finished drinking the Grim Dream Weapon IPA. It was canned on 7/8/19, 6.4 ABV. Basically tasted like a Grim IPA. You know, like
It's good.
You know what you're getting when like you kind of get them sometimes. There's certain ones that do kind of stick out a little more than others. This one necessarily didn't, but
yeah. I thought I had a little bit more of a pine kind of like IPA than like most, and I thought it was like reeled in decently.
Currently, I just actually cracked open a bottle of.
This table beer?
This is a Mirtz with tart cherries from Funk Factory Gozeria out in Wisconsin. My cousin grabbed this for me. She lives out there. This is one of
I can
those.
smell it from here. We're in that summer cleaning phase right now.
This is basically like a lambic, you know. It's gonna be one of those things that with Shelton Brothers Fest coming up in
Holy fuck, that's soon, isn't that?
October. We still got technically like
October
2
4th.
months. Yeah. This is kind of, I guess, more along the lines of what you're going to be seeing there.
October 4th?
I think these guys are going to be there.
5th, yeah.
Oh shit!
Friday,
NHL's got to start right around then.
Oh yeah, no, it's opening weekend.
Oh fuck! I'm ready, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah,
Are you guys going both or?
we got Saturday VIP tickets.
Nice.
So we'll be there Saturday VIP, with it being down at the terminal, like, and being a part of the East Side, and wanting to like get people in there more and being a part of the Miscavige Library. I want to try to hopefully get people in that building while there's people down in that area.
I am embarrassed to say, as somebody who's written about like food and drinking for 10 years, that I've never been to the Polish Library, and I'm not proud of it.
We'll have to get you out there.
Yeah, I've only heard good things. It sounds awesome.
I haven't renewed my membership in years.
But yeah, no,
There's the fireworks. Fucking like clockwork, dude.
I'm excited for Shelton Brothers because it's gonna just kill my palate for like a week. Just drinking this stuff all like for like 2 hours straight, man.
It's nice to see. I mean, because like the craft beer scene is so obsessed with IPAs right now, and the very specific like New England style, that it's refreshing to see like a change of pace, I feel like.
And that's the one thing, like with that weekend in particular, that's also the same weekend that Great American Beer Festival is going on.
Okay.
So most of your beer people are going to Denver for that. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be... So this is really for like this festival, which is considered one of the best festivals in the world. Coming here is huge because you're going to have beer drinkers coming in to like want to experience that. So it's like
you're gonna have to deal with the fucking borderline juggalos that we have in this area.
Well, yeah, I mean, but like you're gonna have like it's going to make the local scene step up that weekend in particular too.
Yeah,
you're gonna have way more developed palates come in though, and that can pull out shit out of beers like this. That's not really.
It's not the
easy to do.
Brewfest or something where it's kind of people just want to get shit faced.
You get a lot of bros and you get a lot of juggalo that just like are there to get trashed versus like, all right, I'm tasting this and I can pull out all this random shit out of a sour. Like I can't fucking do that.
Yeah,
you get that, I feel like, and you get a lot of people too that are like stout people. Like they're like, I'll drink stouts when it's 90. I want no part of a stout when it's 90.
Right.
Like, I'll be puking somewhere because it's just too heavy, it's too thick. But some people really just love that shit.
Yeah.
And right now, everyone's just chasing every IPA that they can. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be fresh. Where other parts, you're going after aging stouts and shit.
Yeah. I actually accidentally ordered a stout at Ballyhoo like 2 days ago because it just said single cut. Eric $9, and I was like, yeah, that's probably one of their IPAs. Like, sure. And then I just
single cut. You have no idea. What you have no idea.
Yeah, there's zero description, and I'm sure maybe there was a menu somewhere that said it, but I was like, whatever. I like single cut, and then they pour it for me, and I immediately was like, I'm an idiot. Like I'm a goddamn idiot.
Did you go there after Incubus?
Before Incubus, yes. My wife is a like ride and die Incubus fan, so we enjoyed ourselves that what was it, Tuesday.
They busted out Pony at the end, and you had your shirtless Brandon Boyd doing his thing, getting the women all hot and bothered. So
what does it do? Like 47 now?
He looks kind of old, man.
I think he's 45 now. Yeah.
Like
is he as bad as that dude from the Lost Prophets? Because that guy fucking aged.
No.
I mean, just besides the whole him being a complete scumbag and being in jail.
He looks old. Like he still is rocking the long hair, and there's a lot of gray in that hair. But he's still like keeping it tight. I mean,
he's got pretty shitty facial hair too, though.
Yeah, he's very bad at growing facial.
He's got the Greg facial hair.
But he's like trying to work it, and it's like, come on, dude, just shave it off, man. Like it's not working, man.
Is it like an artsy thing? Does he just he's being like?
Yeah. And the best is the guitarist. Straight dad outfit. Like it basically had like a t-shirt like basically tucked into jeans and like those white like New Balance. Like he was like straight on just like I'm just a mid 40-year-old guy who likes to play guitar.
Oh, the best part about him is that like he tried out for Alanis Morissette's band and didn't make it. Like in the early 90s.
Nice.
So I mean, one of the things I always remember about Incubus too is that when wireless cords and shit were becoming a thing, like they let him, like he recorded with one, which is like unheard of, and this is like late '90s, I think it was, because it just like smoothed out his sound so much more. It was like I used to like get real in the guitar world and shit, and like read through all this, oh, that's fucking cool, and just like one thing that he did, it always stuck with me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, fucking, I barely play my guitars as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a good show. I mean, it was straight up nostalgia. I mean, make yourself a morning viewer like high school, like to a T for me.
Yeah. When I was down in Fredonia, like the one kid that was in the suite that I was living in was obsessed with Incubus, and like every night he'd try to be like, hey, we're gonna go out in the quad and we're gonna kind of just like play guitar and I'm gonna sing some Incubus songs, and I'm like, all right, man.
It's like, dude, I'm gonna listen to Typo Negative here, fucking recite the number to pi.
That's what I would do, man. I would honestly just I'd sit there and be like, I'm gonna put on some Typo Negative and get high.
This is good.
Yeah.
It's
A day this is gonna be rough, dude. I'm gonna be sucking down pH water like a motherfucker at that thing.
Oh, 100%, man.
yeah.
Trying to regulate my fucking stomach acid again.
But there's some. They did release the brewery list so far. There's some pretty decent stuff there. Locally, the only two locally announced so far were actually Thin Man and Rusty Nickel.
Rusty.
Oh, yeah, Rusty Nickel get some shit for that too.
And Thin Man, you could make the argument. I'm sure Mike Schatzel had a big part in getting this festival in Buffalo, and they're gonna have his brewery at
Thin
this
Man will do some weird shit though. They will just
Rudy is a pretty talented brewer, and he likes to do the weird stuff. Like their big releases are always weird. Like they're not just making like 20 New England IPAs. They're like
they got a couple on tap, and then they'll do some weird shit.
Yeah.
Which fine.
But I mean, if I was going to pick a second local brewery to represent Buffalo,
I'd probably be Resurgence is my guess. I mean, just
or CBW.
Yeah.
The Chicago Street place is great. So I mean,
I've heard it looks. I mean, I've seen the pictures. It looks gorgeous.
Fucking awesome.
I've been there. Yeah. There's some really. I mean, like everybody's like really stepping it up. I mean, like Big Ditch is a place where you could bring like an out of towner and they would be impressed with it. I really like Community Beer Works' new spot, even though it's a little bit kind of off the beaten path.
I think like if you're looking for someone to like go to that's not used to Buffalo, you can bring them to Big Ditch and it's just like, hey, here it is. Like but it's almost like it's more of a restaurant than a brewery. I
would say
it gives you that vibe, even though like you drink their beers and their beers don't represent that at all. Their beers are good beers too.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, there's enough variety with their beers too on the tap list that's going to be like, okay, you know, if you got that person that's walking in, they're going to, you know, they don't want anything crazy. They just want this basic beer.
Like appeal to like a Canadian.
You know, they got their
Canadians that are coming down and shit. They're not craft beer people. I mean, they're slugging Buds and fucking Molson. You know, like
it's weird though because we were talking about like getting into craft beer. Like I got in 2006, and I remember Blue Moon was a big thing right around then, and I didn't realize obviously that it was Coors, but whatever.
It removed Killian's, right? Wasn't that what it got out of?
They started pushing because Killian's again is Coors as well.
Yeah.
So they started pushing Blue Moon more than Killian's, and like basically told like all their places, it's like, well, hey, why don't you just start tapping this instead? It's going to be something that more people will like. And obviously they were right on that, you know.
Yeah, but I remember drinking it, and they throw the orange in it, whatever, and I remember getting so much shit from like other like my friends at a bar or anything like that, and now all these same people are buying like some milkshake IPA and like everyone's like told it like it took 10 years or whatever, and like it all of that like making fun of your buddy for drinking craft beer is like completely gone. I feel like
you get into these groups of people and shit and you just watch them evolve, and like, you know, over a 4-year time of like high school, you see all these people just change and go into shit. I'm nowhere near the person I was in high school.
That's a good point too.
But I mean, it's just funny, like you see this shit and like your memory of this person and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like it's the same thing with these beers now. Like, everyone gets into it. I mean, mind you, this kid's been by my side for as long as I can remember now, and it goes through with like phases with us still. We're into the same shit for the most part, but at the same time, we're like, you go back 10 years ago, like, we're just doing this. We're doing this. Like, that's weird. And just beer as a whole has just become like Same thing.
Yeah. It's just it's cool to see so many people into it now. Where I just feel like
It's cool, but you
where I
almost
was
get that like asshole kind of vibe. Like I was here first.
That's a good point.
You know,
yeah.
you almost
same,
get that
same
feeling.
with the music. Yeah.
Yeah, it just like continues. It's just a
Yeah.
different fucking thing. Like
Yeah.
at some point, you know, we'll all go midlife crisis and buy some red car or something like that. I bought a fucking convertible first, dick.
Yeah. It is weird to see like 21 and 22-year-olds like hanging out at like a brewery or a craft beer bar and being like, I was just drinking like just shit to get hammered.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have like a refined palate.
But that's the thing too. It's like, dude, where the fuck are all these kids getting this money to drink this shit, man?
When we went to the
Like, let's be real here for a second.
Yeah.
When we're that age, man, we're working our asses off just so we can go and buy a fucking 30 pack or
rack
something
and-
just
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
can get
Someone's
drunk,
house.
man.
Yeah.
But now, like, I look at these kids, I'm like, where the fuck did these douches come from? And then I think like the same thing. I'm like, here's me, judgmental 30-some-year-old, and just
I guarantee you, people that were fucking 30 or 40 years old when we were fucking 21 are looking at us being like, look at these assholes.
look at these assholes fucking puking outside and punching out windows and shit.
There's that asshole kid again that's gonna break the fence.
I fucking won that night.
Well, there was a period of time with Buffalo Wheats where we were like on the inside track, so we knew the new spots that were coming.
Yeah.
We kind of had like a little bit of like early access. I primarily was hanging out with like chefs, so I felt like I was in the crowd. And then, you know, we have a kid and we move out to the burbs and things slow down. And I go to the Tapo Thin Man thing, and I had heard nothing about it until it like basically opened. So I was like immediately like, oh, I'm completely out of the loop now.
Yeah.
And then I go in there and I'm easily the oldest person by 10 years. So I'm like, oh, I'm no longer with it at all. Like I am no longer a part of like the cool crowd. Like I am just the old guy who goes and finds out about things like 3 months after the fact. Like it was like a sobering realization walking in there and being like, first of all, I had to ask people where Chandler Street was. I was like, what the hell? Like, why is everyone saying Chandlerville? Like, what the hell is this place that everyone
We
knows?
do not say Chandlerville on this
He
podcast.
doesn't allow it anymore. What was
It's Chandyland, man.
what was the place that you took us, Masuda Chow's or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And I just, where were we before that? It was Shannon's birthday, right?
No, we went to the CBW opening before that,
All right.
which was like about a year ago, like
Yeah.
last week or whatever.
I got in that place. I'm like, what the fuck is this? He's like, the dude from Stone Sour owns it. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I just feel like I'm old and I need to start a fight. Like that was like the feeling I had. I'm like, I should pick a fight.
Yeah, when you're uncomfortable, you get like ready to throw down, man.
That was another
why?
place that I immediately felt like this is really cool, but this is not for me.
I remember like someone stole the fucking ski balls on the news and shit. I'm like 10 years ago, I would have been that asshole probably. But I'm like, because I'm thinking like stupid kids ruining shit for other people. Like now, like adult
exactly.
me's like dumb fucking kids.
Yeah.
But really, it's just like I walk in, I'm like, cool concept. I'm like, I want nothing to do with it. Then all of a sudden I see a picture of like my fucking 21-year-old cousin, his boys like posting up in like the back hallway and
Yeah,
shit. I'm
yeah.
like, I'm just washed up in life at this point. Like just go back to polo shirts and golf on the weekends because I'm just a loser now.
Yeah. No, that I've like, I think I'm at terms with where my place is now in the terms of like the cool spots in Buffalo. And like, I will just go back to Founding Fathers and just hang out at the park.
I don't want to be cool. I just want to be a fucking bum at this point. Just leave me alone. Don't talk to me.
Well, that's like, so like, I mean, looking at it back from when you first started Buffalo Eats to like now, man, like the amount of new places and what the scene in general is in this city, whether it's beer, food, or just anything really, it's insane, man.
Yeah, it's completely different. We started in 2009, and I remember like big openings were like Huckle Buckets opened off of Sheridan, and like everyone was excited,
I
and
still
it was
miss
like
that place.
it's like holy shit, they serve all their food in buckets. And like Lager House when they first opened, and people were like, oh, there's this cool bar, they serve craft beer now near the arena. Like, the openings were so few and far between that, like, we just got excited about anything. It didn't matter if it was good. It just was, like, something new. And
That's a lot of it is, and that's kind of like the whole, the please like my band or please like my show, please like my, like it's just that it's that please like me kind of thing.
Well, yeah.
Like, and that's, I think Buffalo has that complex as a whole, where we're just like, we want something new to gravitate to a lot of times, and it's almost just like we've been starved for so long that we just want to jump on anything.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like Canal Side and shit like that. It's like, all right, Canal Side's awesome. Canal Side's great. It started. Now it's like, give me more. It's not good enough anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine going around there knowing I'm just going to walk around and do nothing. But like, people are going to be like, I need more than that.
Yeah.
Like, I got to be entertained. If I'm not entertained, I don't care. On to the next thing.
Yeah.
But that is kind of what the city does have a complex with that, though. It's like, anytime anyone posts, like, it's like, oh, this website or this magazine says Buffalo's a great place to visit. And everybody's like, check this out. Someone said Buffalo's awesome.
Yeah.
And then I said, someone Buffalo sucks. Like, it's not New York City. No shit. It's not Toronto. We know.
Yeah.
Well, but then, like, you'll get someone to be like, oh, man, Jim Kelly's walking a little funny. And then someone will be like, I'm going to stab you when you sleep because you just said something bad about Jim Kelly. You can't talk shit about anything that's involved with this city. And it's like, dude, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, it's like it's straight up insane. I feel like there's like what is it, Only in Your State or something like that, where it's like
where it's like
a website where I feel like most of their revenue is based on like getting viral content.
It's
praising
total
Buffalo,
yeah.
And half of it doesn't look like it's written by anyone local. They use like Google Map photos as like their thing, but I'm shocked that more major publications haven't figured out that like when you say something nice about Buffalo, it gets shared 1 billion times within Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I've worked with Visit Buffalo Niagara over the years.
I was gonna say whoever's in charge of that shit, man, is earning their fucking
They're
money.
They're killing
man.
it right now, and I've told them like the people they're pulling in to write these things is amazing. But like occasionally they'll ask me to come along and I'll meet the writer and do my pitch of like why things are cool in Buffalo. But like the fact that we love that press, which is deserved because not a lot of people talk about Buffalo, but like nobody locally talks shit about anything with like a critical angle.
You're right. There isn't really anybody out there that's kind of actually being objective about anything, where it's just like
everybody's in full promotional mode.
Anytime a restaurant opens, anytime a business opens, anytime anything happens, this is great.
Yeah.
This is great. And then, like, it might not be great.
And not only that, but like I don't know if we've even proven we can support all the shit that is open. Like there's a lot of stuff that's closing. I mean, as we're talking right now, C-Bar is closing next Friday.
Yeah, the 17th or 16th.
Yeah.
That's our last.
And that's supposed to be one of the best restaurants in the city.
Yeah, and Mike A is a household of a chef as you can get in Buffalo. And I'm sure there's things that go into it financially that he made mistakes along the way, but like the market can only hold so many restaurants without either A, support from Canada, or B, more people moving to the cities and spending their money there. And if we're not critical and we're saying everything's amazing all the time, like nobody I think is like realizing that. And
we have a problem just in Buffalo, I say Buffalo as a whole, but like even some of the suburbs, like I remember people saying like, you go down downtown. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck's wrong with downtown? People will be like, I'd never go down there. Like,
yeah.
You get out like past transit and there's people that won't go on the other side of Transit Road.
Oh,
like,
exactly.
Legitimately. And it's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, oh, it's bad down there. It's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Have you been down there? Do you know anything? Like, you go down to Sabre games? Absolutely. Like, people just don't. They have such a negative outlook on the area, and that it kills it too because we have so many local resources that people don't want to tap into yet.
Yeah.
They're just like, because when they grew up, Buffalo was shit or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you told somebody who was afraid about parking, you're like, I know you're afraid about parking. Park here and just take the line down. And they would look at you like you're a goddamn madman.
Yep.
They're like, I'm sorry, use the public transportation. Like,
it's like, dude, too, the thing about parking, man, it's like, we have ramps that you can park in.
Yes.
Pay literally next to nothing to park in them.
Yeah.
And then go and do your thing.
Yeah.
Like, if this was a bigger city, like, that lot over by Cobblestone, that would cost like minimum like $30 a parking every day, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like you could park in for free half the time. Like
yeah, we don't have a parking problem. We have people expecting they can park for free everywhere problem, which is just an unrealistic.
that's not how cities work.
Yeah.
That's just not how cities work.
I get pissed off when I can't find free parking because I've learned. But the fact is, like, I've been going to the city my whole life.
Yeah.
I've learned my dad's tricks, and I've learned for myself, like,
Yeah.
I can park over here.
Yeah.
Or, like, the one that's over by where the Mahoney was.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
there was those streets back there one time. I'm like, oh, fuck, I'll park over here. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what do you mean it's not a goddamn street anymore? I can't fucking park here? I've been parking here for years. And, like, this is me at, like, 26, like, losing my fucking mind.
Yeah, no, but I have people who like complain all the time, like I can't go downtown, I can't park anywhere. But like they're most likely saying that as they're passing by parking ramps that they don't want to pay for.
Yeah, and it's just like, dude,
Park here now, $15.
Yeah.
$10.
Yeah.
yeah, like it's we have, like you said, we have parking. Like it's such an annoying argument that people like start throwing at you.
Yeah. But going back to the capacity for all this stuff, what I see in the brewery world though is like double that. Like everybody right now, the first thing, if they're opening a bar, they're almost more likely to open up a brewery instead of just a bar, because everyone is obsessed with breweries right now. You open up a brewery in any suburb or neighborhood and like it blows up, regardless if they even have good craft beer. A lot of these
Dive
places,
bars are becoming craft beer places too, you know?
but like even if a brewery opens and the beer isn't good, but it's a good enough vibe, people still flock there like crazy. And like you saw that with like when Resurgence first opened, their stuff was like not great, but it was such a cool place to hang out.
The beers they put out, like, and we've had this talk several times over the years, just like they're beers that you could buy in mass quantities or, you know, buy their cans. Like, these are the worst beers.
Yeah.
Like, it was like the regular IPA, their Blood Orange Saison. Like, you can go to the fucking brewery and get 10 other beers that are way better than that.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, all right, there's a whole rotating series. There's a bunch of stuff. Even like the Resurgence pack, like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can still get better stuff.
Yeah.
You can buy better stuff off the shelves from them.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like, how well they've become too.
Yeah, no, and they've come a long way, but it's like I just wonder when the saturation point is with local breweries where like you're gonna.
There's the new one opening up on Main Street across from like Morpad and like.
And that's not a small build either. That's like a multi-million-dollar project.
Yeah,
that
I
thing is.
seen that the other day. I'm like, holy fuck!
Yeah.
Man, like that's some money going in there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the guy from Oliver's and Sear and Creekview, so he's got cash behind it. But it's like, I don't know. I'm waiting for the break point of when.
Well, there's so many everywhere these breweries, except for two of them, are all investor driven too.
Yeah.
Like you got to pay these guys back at some point.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's weird.
Unless your family happened to own Sorrento cheese or Edukids, you pretty much have a lot of debt that you have to pay back.
Yeah, no, I don't think we're at that bubble just yet, but with the way the trend is where, you know, new bars opening up are basically just breweries as it is.
Yeah.
I think that'll probably end up being the thing that continues.
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing more neighborhood breweries than...
Back in like the 1900s, the early start,
Yeah.
man, when that was your neighborhood bar was, you know, pumping out random lagers and pilsners and shit.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm all for more good beer. It's just like, if I'm watching what's happening with the restaurant world and I try to like parallel it to the brewery world, I feel like in 5 years, there's going to be a lot of
gonna
cheap
start closing.
brewing equipment.
Yeah, and that's likely going to be the case.
Yeah.
It's just, you're going to see this city continue to grow, I would assume.
I hope.
I mean, it doesn't like look like they're slowing down.
True.
Like people seem to be moving back, and I mean, rents are going up all over the fucking place. So I mean, I guess people are assuming that people have money here now.
Yeah, I mean, you watch the West Side. Like the West Side is like completely turning around. Like
You get off on like Niagara Street, like, what the fuck happened over here?
Yeah.
There's buildings that are 3 stories now. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah. My sign was always looking at the windows, and if they were new windows with like the stickers on them, I was like, oh shit, stuff's going on over here.
it's like, wait, you guys got a working light?
Yeah, it's an interesting spot to be in. I mean, the cool part about when we did Buffalo Eats was we literally got to watch the rise. Like 2012 to 15 was like just every week we had some new news thing to say, and it was perfect for us because we were like one of the bigger voices, so we got to like break a lot of the stories and really cover it. But like I just feel like now I'm like I have no idea what the next 5 years has in store, at least for the restaurant world.
Yeah, because we kind of slowed down on that.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. Like, there's, like, I mean, trying to really think of, like, what the newest restaurants really have been over the past, like, 6 months.
Yeah, there's not restaurant-wise, there really isn't a lot.
Yeah, nothing's really, like, sticks out. I mean, like, you had that Breezy Burrito open up their new space on Elmwood, like, a couple weeks ago.
Which seems like that's kind of like a cool, hip, like, spot now.
Yeah. I was in there last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. It's just, I mean, the food, their food's pretty good from having them over at Expo.
Yeah, it's more like Tex-Mex as opposed to like authentic Mex, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Or traditional Mex, I guess.
I think one of the things I run into too is just like, when I have extra money to blow, like it's not easy because, married with kids and shit like that, and like, in that millennial range where you got to kind of like, like we're not like, the baby boomer generation. We're not getting pensions. We're not set up.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be like smart with it. And, like, it's the same thing when it came to beers. Like, I'm not going to go and blow $13 or $14 on a 6-pack was my thing a few years ago because I don't know if I'm going to like that beer.
Yeah.
I'm pissed off. I just spent $14 and right off the top, I'm already losing 3 beers because my wife's drinking them. And if Brian comes over, now I'm down to 2 beers and like 1 beer after that.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's how it works. Like, you always got to be smart with what you're doing. And same thing, like, if you go to a restaurant and you're like, I heard good things about it. I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah.
It's like, I really want to go there? Like,
yeah.
And especially this culture, like we talked about with, like, our area, it's like, I haven't heard that great of things.
Yeah.
I'm not going to support it. Or you get the people that are like, no, I'm a fan of this one. I'm a fucking supporter of that guy. You get a lot of that shit.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Speaking about money, we're drinking a Burning Money from Thin Man. 6.6 ABV. It's an IPA. Doesn't say if it's any kind of style IPA. But this was actually brewed at Chandler. Brewed and canned at Chandler, so...
That facility is just gigantic.
Like, so they're pumping out a lot of cans out there now, so...
If you were to put money on a Buffalo brewery that would make national... like moves, like waves, I feel like it's Thin Man at this point.
I mean, they got the backing.
They had the
with
backing
it. I mean, it's hard to bet against Mike Schatzel when it comes to that kind of thing.
Well, that's the other
His
thing.
connections and everything else,
Exactly.
he's all over the place. I know.
If you follow him on any of the social media, he's traveling somewhere
Yeah.
like every goddamn month.
Yeah, like Buffalo Beer League just wrote an article kind of about how like he's out in Portugal and he's going out to like a festival in China and stuff to have the beer there.
He lives
Like,
just the best fucking life.
that's what I mean. But so it's like, like he took advantage of the situation that he was given.
Yeah.
And more power to him. Like you can't argue that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I was in his situation, would I have done the same thing he's done to this city? I don't know.
I wonder with sort of things like CBW. If CBW went like heavy on stouts, how would their stouts stack up nationally? Especially because of like Buffy Yeti. And it's a good beer. Mm-hmm. Like, what if they went that route and so we could be a stout brewery and just fucking slam that shit? Could they get more national exposure? It's the same thing I think with Resurgence. Resurgence has enough variety, and they have a pretty good backing financially with it too that they could do.
Well, that's the one thing
more.
that when Ethan sat down with us at their anniversary party, he kind of mentioned, because he was just in Denver back then, and he was kind of talking about how Denver is beer-wise, where it's like, they have so many breweries and it doesn't feel saturated there because, like, most of the breweries out there, they're like, well, we specifically do this. We only do sours. We only do Belgians. We only do stouts. We only do this. They're not trying to do anything more. They're all, like, centered around style.
Yeah.
More than, hey, we're a brewery.
Yeah.
we're gonna
And
brew this hype because that's hyping. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do. It's not that.
Yeah.
like talking with the guys from Rusty Nico at the Brewers Invitational back Canal Side over a month or so ago, they're saying that they kind of wanted to like start focusing a little more on making Belgians because you don't really have
You don't have that
that
here at all.
No.
So
I mean, the biggest Belgian brewery I think about by us is
Oh, the gang.
yeah. I almost called it Three Philosophers. But I mean, yeah, that's why I think of it. I mean, they're doing open top fermentation. They dabble in other shit, but
Yeah.
like if I think of Belgian breweries, I think of them right away.
Yeah,
like
same.
at least they're not local, but you think about that on like a bigger spectrum. They've been around for as long as I remember drinking beer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think 05, 06, getting into beer like
Three Philosophers was that beer that kind of like you stepped it up a notch in your beer drinking.
when you looked at it, you're
You
like,
know,
you're like, this beer costs $10 and it's fucking 9.8%.
Yeah.
I'm an adult right now.
And they had the
little pot, the
yeah,
twist thing.
Yeah, you felt like you were drinking like something special. Rare Voss, I mean, was a gateway beer for me
Yeah.
in a lot of ways.
I remember drinking it at Alternative Brews. And they're like, what kind of smokes you got in that fucking spat? Like just sitting there, it just smelled like my dad did in the 80s and shit.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're dead on though with the Mike Schatzel Connections thing. As far like the fact that they've gotten all of these collaboration beers with like some of the biggest names right now is 100% because Mike Schatzel just knows everybody, and it's great. I mean,
And you have a good brewer.
yeah, and Rudy is a fucking killer brewer. But they have the money to back it. I mean,
I
they
always
can
wonder,
get their
like-
cans in Ohio if they want to.
yeah, they can really with Chandler doing what they're doing canning wise and stuff now, they can really push distribution a little heavier and stuff.
But that's what I think about with distribution, though, because there's always that line that how much is too much.
Well, you got to wonder, like, I'm going to New York City in 2 weeks, so I'm kind of curious to see, like, what Thin Man I'd see out there.
Yeah.
Because that could be the difference. Like,
My parents are drinking Thin Man in fucking
but I
Alexandria
mean,
Bay,
like, you know, we get excited because we get these cans here. We get Grimm. We get whatever else.
Yeah.
Is Thin Man the brewery from here that people are like, oh, hey, man, this store just got some 4-packs of Thin Man in. You know, got to go and get these and buy these real quick.
Now it's the distribution is just so much different. It's not like you're chasing this shit anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think to that, I could see Resurgence being the brewery that makes it more mainstream, I feel like. Like, I could see them being the ones, because a lot of their beers, I think, are pretty favorable to any palate.
Yeah.
And I think I could see them, especially with the backing they have, that they could potentially become that beer where, like, Loganberry Wheat is, like, just like a crushable beer, like, countrywide. I think where Thin Man would be, like, the hipster cred. It's nice. So when we were running Buffalo Wheats, like, we would try everything because that was the job. It was trying everything and giving our opinion of it. And when we retired, quote unquote, in 2016, everyone asked us if we had like tried all the new places, and me and my wife, and we're like, no, like we're going to the same 5 places because we just love those restaurants, and we just don't want to fucking try new things anymore. Like, we love these 5 places, and that's totally fine.
And what do you do for pizza around here?
For pizza around here? Pizza around here is rough. I drive actually all the way down to Lovejoy.
Okay, I grew up in Lovejoy. Go to Lovejoy Pizzeria?
Yeah. I drive down to Lovejoy if we're getting pizza. I will dabble in Franco's. That's about it. I liked Yum Yums for a while, but
Did you? I never had Yum. I'm a big Gandy's guy.
Gandy's?
I love Gandy's.
Gandy's is
The one that's up Cleveland,
okay.
right at the corner.
Okay, I don't think I've had it.
When we moved here, we tried to, because initially, like, we lived here, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, we moved into the place. And so we wanted to try all the pizzas. Like, we had Tony's and John's. And Tony's was our go-to because it was next to Gordy's, and that was our bar.
That's
Nice.
right. It was basically right across the street.
Yeah, so, like, it was across the street from us. We'd go over there and get some shit.
Nice.
We got Gandy's like once or twice.
I've never been to Gordy's.
And then Bob and John's before they like re-upped and changed all their shit.
I am not a fan.
I hate that shit.
It's so bad.
I paid $22 last year for a fucking cheese and pepperoni pizza, and I'm like, are you guys kidding me? Like, I had to like restrain myself from like flipping out about it. I'm like, this pizza sucked.
Yeah,
I was gonna call and yell about it afterwards. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm apparently not in the minority. I don't like Bob and John's on
No, I
Hurdle or this one, and people give me shit all the time.
They changed it. It's different now than what it was.
Bad, yeah.
I love Gandy's. I mean, they just throw so much damn cheese on it. I mean, it's good. It's not the thing where you have the same exact pizza every time. I don't want to say like it's gonna look the same because it might be bubbly more.
Right.
And not just like it's not like how do I describe it with pizza? Because pizza's such a fucking shit show. Like some places, you're getting like a burnt crust every time.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna get that same setup. It's not, but there's the best around here that we go to. It's our go-to for it.
So Sexy Slices, I don't know if you guys are familiar, the Instagram guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've never.
So he goes around and reviews pizza places. So every week he'll post a pizza review. And he had a pizza festival at Hydraulic Hearth, and Macy's place took home the number one place, which is like
Where's
right
Macy's?
around. Macy's is on Genesee.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right near Crabapple.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Which I've had like completely just wild results from that place.
Like it's not consistent.
Yeah, not at all. And you go in there and it's like 3 like 16-year-old kids, and you're like, how is anything being made? Like everyone's just.
But that's a pizzeria though. If I'm walking into a pizzeria and there's not at least one 16-year-old, then I'm questioning what the fuck's actually.
You got to think about
there.
this way. When pizzerias are great, is there a family person there that's all the time, and like how high are the rest of the staff?
That's a very good point.
But that's it. It's pizzeria, man.
You're right.
Going from IPAs back again to sours. This is the.
Speaking of sour, I'm gonna go look for my kids.
This is the 42 North Goza Colada Coconut and Lime Goza. This was canned a couple weeks ago, I believe. They released it. It says it's made with a touch of milk sugar, crisp fruited Goza inspired by pina colada, made with coconut, lime, and pineapple. Sent at 4.7 ABV.
42 North is one of those breweries where I feel like I forget about them because they're in East Aurora.
Yeah, that's...
And they're good. I've mostly always enjoyed what I had, but I just always forget about them, I guess. I don't know why.
One thing I've been trying to do this year is focusing, or not necessarily focusing, but like getting myself out to more Southtown things.
Yeah.
Because I don't really do it ever. I'm never really
I don't think
thinking.
you're definitely not alone in that thought either. I mean, me and my wife, we both grew up in Orchard Park.
Mm-hmm.
But I work with a bunch of people who like the Southtowns are like a foreign land to them. Like unless they're going to a Bills game, they're like, I have no idea what like Hamburg looks like. And it's like, yeah, I get it because it's a fucking drive.
And you get the Hamburg people that you can guarantee you, most of them probably never went to North Tonawanda or anything.
Exactly.
You know, they're like, what the fuck is North Tonawanda?
Yeah.
You know?
It is weird how that all fucking works.
It's just like, all right, instead of like talking about like singing lyrics and shit, you're talking about like, dude, you try that cheeseburger? Did you get that appetizer at that place? Like, did you try that beer yet?
Oh man, that's too true.
We talk about the same shit all the time,
Yeah.
like amongst each other, but like at the same time, it's just like, can you believe it's been like 10 years since this? Can you believe like this is?
Well, I mean, I was walking down Ellicott Street, and like I was thinking, like when we started Buffalo Eats, like none of this existed. There's no Deep South, no Tapo, no Big Ditch, no Teuton, Marble and Rye. Even C-Bar had just opened that year, and it's just like fuck, like everything has changed completely.
It's just like like some of this shit closes. It feels like our parents do, like a part of your youth dies, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's not for us, it's like this is where we went, this is what we did, but it's the like, well, we're not there 4 nights a week anymore. You know,
Exactly.
It's like that's unless that next group took the same step.
Yeah.
Like that's how the shit fades.
Yeah.
You know, which is great. I mean, it's the same thing that's going to happen with these breweries. So if these 22-year-old kids ain't pumping the tires at all these breweries too,
Yeah.
and when they're 27, 28, 29, 30, like, if they're not going to this shit still and it hasn't hit that next generation, we're going to see the same shit happen in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very rare you get the generational things like chefs or something like that, where just over and over people go to it.
Like, we think about like food a lot. Just, I mean, like I line cooked for 10 years or 9 years, whatever. I mean, you were for...
I worked in restaurants for like 12 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I never want to be a chef. At times I thought about, like, maybe I should go back to a culinary degree because a culinary degree would be kind of cool. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm not... If some guy's going to scream at me, I'm going to punch him in his fucking face. Like, I'm just not cut out for that. Like, it's just my mentality is just like, I ain't taking any shit, man.
Oh, man.
This stuff tastes like a fucking, like...
Am I getting banana?
No, dude, it's like...
So...
It's pineapple and, like, it tastes like a kebab.
We're going to finish off the night with our friends that just had their year anniversary yesterday at Mortalis.
Oh, I've never had a Mortalis beer.
This is their From Hawaii with Love Golden Stout. It is a pineapple coconut coffee golden stout.
Do you know who made it or who was the brewer behind it?
Probably Josh.
I would say Josh fucking is like stout king.
Josh does a lot of their stouts.
This is
but like they all have their hands.
Well,
on
he's
it.
the one that made his homebrew one he gave us, right?
Yeah.
And that was holy fuck, dude. He gave us a coconut stout that he made.
Yeah.
It was like incredible. Like had labels made up and everything for it. It was, dude. He's insane. The brewers there.
But I figured I wanted to bring this in, kind of just with them having their anniversary party yesterday. Actually, they've been open for a year, and yeah, the hype is real out there. So
thank you for sharing this. This is my first time I've had any of their stuff.
Yeah, they
I know it's like the new hotness. Like people are waiting in line.
I think I've drank like 12 to 15 of their beers, and I've not had a bad one. You probably might be up to like 30.
It's one of those things that, like, I mean, as we talked a lot about, you know, what the style was back in the day and how like we got into craft beer tonight. Like, this is what craft beer really is right now.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is what the kids like. I mean, like all the stuff that's on Instagram and everybody's chasing and that, like, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Like these are the trends that people are striving for and looking for, and like it's kind of like a crazy little, like, is it beer? Is it something else? Like, what do we have even going on right now? And
this smells and tastes like insane. It's really, really good.
Like, you started seeing, I've been thinking, because of Buffalo Beer Week coming up in roughly about a month.
Shit.
They had last year. They had this little like kind of like symposium with like the brewers and a couple of like a handful of like the beer geeks and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things that like they like people brought up being like, how come nobody's doing things that like Mortalis is doing? And the brewers are like, because if we did all that, you probably would still go there. You know, like they kind of just like, well, if we did that, you guys probably wouldn't like it as much as like, whatever.
Yeah.
But like you started seeing over the past year, you saw a lot of breweries kind of bending a little more into that. With like Resurgence doing the Brew Geeks series that they did with the coconut stouts and the marshmallow one that they did. 42 North's been like doing crazy sours over the past. Like, I mean, they just released 2 more this weekend at the tap room.
Last summer, that when Resurgence they did the blonde stout was fucking insane. Remember how good that one was?
I mean, but like you're seeing breweries do that. Like we said, too, like Thin Man's been kind of like going a little crazier and stuff a little bit too. Even JP over at Brickyard, he kind of bends the rules a little bit as well. So like you're seeing this brewery that like is, you know, only an hour away from us, really making a difference in the scene because people are like, hey, this is kind of what we want. And like everybody around here is like, okay, if this is what you want, we're going to still do our thing, but we're going to kind of try to pepper this in and see if you guys like it. Like Big Ditch has been doing a lot of milkshake IPAs and sours and everything else as well. Like it's something that like, I mean,
for the flavors in this, it doesn't taste first of all, it's like super well balanced. Like
Their beers are all just balanced, man.
But these three flavors, what is it? Pineapple, coconut, coffee.
Mm-hmm.
They could taste so fake so easily, and it doesn't taste like super like artificial, and it's also just incredibly like one note, like not one, but like it works well together. It's a very like
they're just one of those breweries. It's like we don't give a fuck what it costs us to make it.
Yeah,
we want the taste to be real. We want everything to be authentic, and man, their beers like speak for themselves.
That is really good.
Well, when you talk to them too, they're the first thing that they'll always tell you is like, we're gonna brew beer that we want to drink.
Yeah,
we don't give a shit. Like if you don't like it, that's fine. We want to drink these things. So, I mean, and that's what most brewers really will kind of tell you, being like, you know what, like I'm drinking, like, I mean, Carl says that all the time at Pressure Drop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, first and foremost, he's drinking beers that he enjoys.
Yeah.
And he's someone, too, that's really kind of stepped his game up in the past year or so. Like, if you think of one, like, I still feel that, like, if there's one brewery that's hot and cold with everybody, in this city, it's Pressure Drop. Like, people either are like, I don't want to touch it, or people are like, this is probably one of my favorite breweries. And he's sticking true to his guns. Like, he's still doing a lot of West Coast centered stuff. But, like, in my opinion, like, Buckstar is probably one of the best beers that you can get in this city, especially a porter that you can drink year round.
Yeah. I mean, Buffalo Brewing Company was the same way for a while too. They stuck to their guns of like playing the classic styles, and they got into a lot of the newer ones. And his beers are just getting better and better.
But
you know, he still makes a fucking great Marzen. He still makes a great Vienna lager. But at the same time, like, hey, you want to try some double dry hop like random New England? Like, it's come a long way.
But that's what, like, I mean. Yeah. Comparing it with music and food, even like you get competition like this going on, like Mortalis coming into the beer scene a year ago, it made everybody else in this area kind of step it up a little bit more to kind of be like, hey, we're still here. You don't need to drive an hour away.
Yeah.
And you know,
it's just kind of crazy though, because like Rochester's now got two places that realistically create like lines to wait to get can releases with Mortalis and other half.
And they still got Fifth Frame in Prison City.
Yeah, Fifth Frame is amazing.
Yeah.
Prison City is fantastic.
And that's only in Auburn. That's really not that far either, you know.
Yeah. It was funny, my dad is from Auburn, and I was trying to explain to him. I was like, yeah, when you go to see your sister, could you stop at this brewery? And he's like, okay. And I was like, you might have to wait in line. He's like, I have to wait in line at a brewery in Auburn? I was like, yeah, no, I know. It's really... He's like, somebody cares about Auburn? he was like floored that like Prison City has like gotten like... And I was trying to explain like, yeah, one year they got labeled like the best IPA. It's kind of been a thing. He's like, so people travel to Auburn to get beer. I was like, yes, Dad.
But yeah, Donnie, where can people find you? What would you like to throw out to hype yourself up?
We're pretty much everywhere at Buffalo Eats. Instagram, we've got about 9 people who are on the account, so we usually have something almost every other day at least about what's going on. Facebook, Twitter as well. We've got some plans maybe for blog stuff in the future, but we'll see if I can actually do it. But yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming down. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Luckily, it was only like a 5-block walk, so that's
I put in the address and I was like, oh shit, it's only 12 minutes.
As long as you guys aren't stirring shit up with any more competitions and stuff with everybody and getting people all hot and bothered.
We have several planned. So. My favorite thing in the world is getting people pissed off online.
But yeah, as always, go find us on Instagram at What the Hops Podcast, on Twitter and Facebook at What the Hops. Go find me on Untapped at Brian WTH.
Don't even bother fucking looking for me because I didn't even put it on my new phone.
Go hit up our WordPress at whatthehops.wordpress.com. Go check out our friends in the podcasting world on bigheadsmedia.com and hoptopnetwork.com. And yeah.
You're listening to the Hopped Up Network.
Thank you. The show you just listened to is part of the Hopped Up Network. The Hopped Up Network is a growing family of craft beer podcasts in the United States and Canada. Find this show and others like it at hoppedupnetwork.com, the spot for informative and entertaining craft beer podcasts.